I want to say that we have tonight the Chumash share, so if anybody, you could surely come down at 8:45 to get the Chumash share, but for those that it's a very long trip to get here, you could listen also or watch with your wives on Zoom. The way to do that is to go to zoomdaf.com, and then put in meeting code 914408. 914408. Or, as I said, you could come down and enjoy. Okay, so we are sponsored by the Fisher family, Nishmas Bar, Basi Bas Rabbi, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perl Bas Ruvain. We learn also the Nishmas David ben Chaim. David ben Chaim, the first Shleim for Yomis ben Chaim for the Schutz of Avram Yom ben Shmamak Yudis and family, Yo Kugman and family, and the first Shleim for Meir ben Chaim Sarah. Michal Avram Chavin was in the hospital for 2 days, but Baruch Hashem, I spoke to him today. He's coming home. Just seemed to be was going for some tests, but he sounded good, and he's going. And then tomorrow his wife is going for a procedure, so that Shira Basra, also my mother, is going for a test tomorrow morning. Esther Fradel Baschana. They should all have a refuah shleima and b'seich shecha Yisrael. Okay, we're holding at Perek Beis Mishna Tes and Yud. So marchikenes hanevelos, you have to distance. They left sometimes corpses out of animals for the dogs, and has a smell. So you have to distance that from the city, at least 50 amas. Vesakvaris, or graves, even a single grave could generate a smell. You have to distance it from the city 50 amas. Vesaburski, a tanner. A tannery generates a very foul smell. It has to be distanced mina'ir chamishim amma. It's interesting. It doesn't say over here a chicken coop. A chicken coop could also, there was a chicken coop in the country, and I remember that nobody wanted to go to the bungalows near that chicken coop because of the smell that it generated. But the Mishnah doesn't say a chicken coop. 50 amas is a lot. 50 amas is, well, it isn't that much, but it's not even 100 feet. 100 feet is not that much. Ein oisim burski, and even when you make a tannery, the Tanakama holds you only do it el mizrach ha'ir, to the east of the city, because on the east of the city, the eastern wind is the mildest and warmest wind, and therefore it doesn't carry the smell so far. Rabbi Kiva disagrees. And here Rabbi Kiva is talking about in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, the davening is towards the Ma'ariv, because the Shechina is in the Ma'ariv, just like the Kodesh Kodashim is in the Ma'ariv. So Rabbi Kiva, Chol Ruach Hu Oisa, you could do it to any direction, chutz mimarav, except on the west, because that's where the Shechina is. Umarchik kamishim amma, and on all the other sides, you have to distance 50 amas. Now, marchikin es hamishra min hayarik, you have to distance if you steep flax. Steeping flax, the foul mixture of that water with the flax will seep into the ground and damage vegetables. So you have to distance the flax pond from vegetables. Vesakrishin min habetzalim. Krishin is cress. It's a type of vegetable. You have to distance it from onions because the cress will sap the sharpness of the onion and make the onion very inferior. And here it's an interesting thing. Vesachardel min advoim. The Tanakama says, and this is of course the famous sugya of chardel. I was zeichet to hear shir on chardel from Rav Gershon Wiesenfeld, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, Schus Yogan Aleinu. I remember how complicated his shir was on Chardel. It was so interesting that we heard 2 shiurim a week. We heard this is deep in Beis Medrash. We heard the shir from Ramosha, which makes up the Dibris Moshe. The day that we heard shir from Ramosha, we spent the whole day on the shir. Ramosha gave me the notes to the shir. It was impossible to understand the shir if we didn't have the notes beforehand. He gave me about 12 pages, and I took a list of who was going to be by the shir, and I made copies of the pages for everybody, and we spent the whole morning Seder learning the shir. Then we heard the shir. Then afternoon Seder, we reviewed the shir, and then night Seder, somebody gave Chazaras HaShir. So we spent the whole day. So I remember, Ramosha gave us about 12 pages. I remember that Rav Gershon Wiesenfeld gave us a shir on Chardel, and his was 2 pages. But he wrote very, very short, and I remember how complicated it was. But this is not going to be so complicated. You have to distance mustard from bees. Now why? 2 reasons. First of all, the bees eat the mustard, and that takes away the sweet taste of the honey. It gives it a sharp taste, and it ruins the honey. And of course, the second reason is because when they eat the mustard, they get bitterness, and it causes them to eat their own honey. And therefore, it deprives the owner of the bees of the honey. Rabbi Yossi matir b'chardel. Rabbi Yossi says, in all of these cases, it's clear what is the mazik. The cress damages the onions. The steeping pool of the flax damages the vegetables. Here, the owner of the mustard says to the bees, just like my mustard hurts your bees hurt my mustard because they eat the mustard seeds. And therefore, why should I be marchik? You should be marchik. And therefore, Rabbi Yossi says that he could put the mustard there, and if the owner of the bees doesn't like it, so let them distance the bees. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. We want to thank you very much for joining us. Those that stayed extra, thank you. I'm sorry to put you out of your way, but it's a good marav. It's a good marav. Chazanis im Yitz Hashem. And 1 second, Baruch, what's the name again?
Esther Bas Yomis.
And today's Mishnayis was learned Lili Nishmas Esther Bas Yaina, whose yahrzeit is tonight. The Neshama should have an aliyah. Chanani ben Akash Amaratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You want to say a Kaddish, Baruch?
It's not early?
Huh? You could say a Kaddish, yeah. Chanani ben Akash Amaratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu.